All right. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Activation Nation. I am so excited to be here. We have an amazing guest with us, Erika Dale. Hi, Erika. Are you doing good today?
I'm great. How are you, Julie?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so excited for this conversation because I think it's going to be enlightening on so many levels. But before we get in, you're a LifeVantage consultant, a fitness enthusiast, a nutritionist, a mom, a business owner, like all the boxes. What tell us about yourself? Like what sparked your interest in nutrition and wellness, and specifically LifeVantage and activation?
Yeah. So my story goes back before LifeVantage was ever introduced. I was a college athlete and never worried about my body weight.
Mm.
Just didn't have that struggle, thankfully, until I went to college. And then I found late night eating and drinking and fast food and things I just didn't have growing up. And so I found myself after graduating college 45 pounds heavier and having no idea how to get it off. And so I
Mm.
spent years of yo-yo dieting and then finally started to become educated about nutrition. And in 2012, I lost 60 pounds. And that's what initially sparked my interest more in the health and fitness lifestyle and helping other people to do the same. And shortly after that, a friend of mine reached out and introduced me to LifeVantage. Wasn't super interested. I had a lot on my plate. I was, you know, living a struggling life when it came to financial issues. And I just thought, man, I don't know that I can take on anything more. But the idea of getting to the root of the problem and really understanding more about how LifeVantage partnered up with nutrition, with health and fitness, which I was already passionate about, sparked my interest. And so I said, let's just take a little toe in the water. Let's learn a little bit more. And that's kind of where it all started for me.
Well, what was that moment for you where you were like, this could be a business? You mentioned dipping your toe in, but what did you have kind of this aha moment of like, wow, I could activate my life here, not just my health, but some of these other elements as a business owner in LifeVantage. Did you have that like moment?
Yeah, I think so. I think I personally, like I said, I wasn't super interested. In fact,
Yeah.
I shared this with my then boyfriend, now husband Jesse, just because he has a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the science part of things, which I really didn't at the time, in hopes that he would say to me, Julie, absolutely not. This is something we are not putting our names to. I really hope that he would
You
give.
were looking for an excuse, like,
I
tell me
was.
no.
He was the one that said, wow, if this product, this
Mhm.
activator does what it says it does, we should be taking it. And I
Mhm.
about fell out of my chair because we were not supplement people. We didn't take a lot of product. We owned gyms, didn't even sell product in our gyms, even though it could make us money. We really wanted to be true to giving people what they needed, not just giving them things that we could make a dollar off of. And when he gave me that green light, I knew the potential with network marketing. um, I didn't know if I could do that, but I then just kind of put it up to this platform of, well, if other people can do it, why can't I do it? And I ran with my hair on fire just with that kind of model. If they can do it, I can do it. And I just became a student and learned how to become a network marketer.
I love that. If they can do it, I can do it. Like remove the limitations and the limiting beliefs, right? And just totally go all in on yourself. I love that your husband saw it too and encouraged you as kind of as part of your story. That's because not everybody has that. There are some that say, "Good luck. Let me know when it doesn't work."
Well,
Right?
he did say that. He was interested in the product, but he said, I don't he actually said, "I'll just be completely transparent here, guys. You guys, if you know me, I'm that way." But he said, "This isn't a real business. You do your thing." And we
Mm-hmm.
were only dating, so I did my thing. I
Your
didn't
thing.
have a
Yeah.
profession at that time. But slowly and surely, as we started to build here, he became like, "Wait, this actually is a business," and he started
Yeah.
to get more and more interested.
Well, how do you talk about what we have here? Like activation in general. Like what is your go-to when someone asks you like, well, what is LifeVantage and why are their products different? Like what is your kind of go-to response to
Yeah,
that
I think
question?
that's such a good question. I think, you have to kind of toy the line because we have a lot of science here, guys. But
Mhm.
most people don't need to know the science, especially in the beginning. They are looking at what's in it for me. How is this going to benefit me? Why do I need to take these products? And then why is this different, right? Why can't I just walk into the nearest store and just buy these same things? And so figuring out how to speak to them with that, what's in it for me. So talking to them kind of in just normal terms, right? You're going to feel better, you're going to sleep better, you can fill in the gaps with all of those things. But the reason is because this product is getting your body to work the way that it was intended, and everything else on the market essentially is a band-aid. And so I
Yeah.
just talk about that. Do you want a band-aid? Or do you want to really create long-term benefits here for your health and your body?
Yeah, you're really talking and getting to the heart of that it's different than supplementation, right? Supplementation's that Band-Aid that you're talking about, but everyone knows about supplements.
Yes.
You know, they're not maybe getting what they need in their diet. They know that they're, supplementing in some way or covering bridging that gap
Mm.
with supplementation. It's fun to see when the light bulb goes off when you say, but your body's capable of making these things and
Yeah.
producing these things. Activation just unlocks that, uses the right blend of ingredients to unlock and activate your body's own production. I always explain it to like self care starts with cell care, right? Like that's you've got to you're taking the best care of yourself when you're helping your cells, empowering your cells do what they were designed to do.
Yes, absolutely.
So we love activation because it is a different approach. And when you can do that, the results, and I don't know if you want to jump in here on things you've seen like what the product's able to do, what bodies are capable of doing when you empower it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know that our bodies are the miracle, right? Anything you take isn't the miracle, but it's getting your body to work the way it once did. And I often refer to children. If
Mhm.
you look at children, I have a 10-month-old. He is a busy,
So full of
busy
energy
boy. And
everywhere.
he's
I love
starting to walk, and I'm just like, "Okay, here we go. This
it.
is the start
Uh-huh.
of it." But, they don't tuck her out very often until it's like they are done, they're crashing. Or if you look at even from a nutrition standpoint, I remember watching my niece several years ago. She asked, "Hey, Aunt Erica, can I have a snack?" And I watched her
Mm.
go and grab whatever it was from my mom's pantry, and she sat down and she ate, like, 2 of them out of this little snack bag and then was like, "Okay, I'm done."
I'm full.
And
Yeah,
walked away, and it was like her body is working the way that it's supposed to work. And so sometimes I just revert back to that and talking about your children or your nieces and nephews or your grandchildren. That's the way the body's supposed to work, but
yeah.
as we age and as we're involved in all the things that we are, it just simply isn't doing that anymore.
Yeah, oxidative stress is one of those culprits, right? We encounter it, we don't even know that we're encountering it, and then the aging process and that yeah, it can wreak havoc, so
Yeah,
it's cool
for
to know
sure.
it's not inevitable, that there is a solution. So let's talk about what some of the things we do activate. So, Protandim, our kind of flagship product, what LifeVantage, is kind of known for, is activating antioxidants. What's another your favorite, activator? Is there another
Oh,
one that you'd go to?
I mean, all of them. Everyone's like, "What do you take?" Uh, Definitely, the probiotic, our
Yeah.
probio, and, Axio. It's
Yep.
game changer.
Those neurotransmitters, those I call that my mom juice and
Oh,
Axe
yes,
'cause it's like,
absolutely.
I need my brain firing, it's not firing. How can I help it make what it needs to stay in focus? We have our collagen. We also have, and we're kind of here and gonna deep dive a little bit here, but activating a important hormone,
What?
GLP-1 with our latest, mind body GLP-1 system. And kind of the science there and the science behind that is your body, and a lot of people don't realize this, but your body is fully capable of making this hormone that it needs to regulate metabolism, appetite, that connect that brain gut
Mm,
axis. And you were talking about the toddlers and the snacking,
what?
but are getting this right signals that my body, I don't need to overeat. I'm eating for fuel instead of because I want something, or it's a need, not a want, right? When this hormone is really present and really strong. So we're going and activating with this mind body GLP-1 system, we're activating your body's own production of GLP-1 down in your colon where L cells are. Um, and activating that L cell, and also just making sure that it has the right environment. Part of the benefit of this system is making sure that gut microbiome where those L cells are kind of primed so that when we're activating it, when we have this hormone present too, that we're increasing receptors, that we're eliminating some of the things that might break it down before it's able to do, provide you those other health benefits. So it's incredible what we're able to use science and use nutrigenomics to activate in your body. But tell me about your story and your experience with the system. Like, why did you start, and what change did you kind of notice when activation of this hormone was working for you?
Yeah. Guys, I'll be completely honest, even with my background in nutrition, I really didn't have a lot of knowledge about the GLP-1 hormone.
Mm.
And so when we launched this, I was kind of soaking it all in and learning along the way. But for me, I was 3 months postpartum, I believe, when we got our hands on it. And, obviously, you moms out there, like you're trying to do all the things and stay healthy and have your energy. But also, right, there's a part of us, we want to look better. We want to get back to that pre-pregnancy weight or body or whatever it might be. And so for me, it was kind of all of those things combined. So I started using the system, and right away, within a few days, a week tops, I never knew what food noise was until it
Yeah.
was there. I'd heard people talk about food noise, but I didn't think that I struggled with food noise, and then when it went away, the light bulb went off, right? We talked about aha moments. And that for me and Jesse was just absolutely huge. I remember we went out to Park City and we were given our system. We started using it. And then he and I actually took a quick trip down to Florida. And of course, you're vacationing, you're not eating the best, you're not completely on point with your nutrition. And we were ordering dinner. We hadn't eaten anything. And normally when you're ordering food out, listen, I'm not ordering a shrimp salad.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at what he had ordered, which actually was a shrimp salad. And I was like, "Did you really just order that?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's what sounds good today." And I don't remember what I ordered, but I could barely eat it. Right? My body was like, "Hey, you're actually not hungry for all of that junk that you just."
Mhm.
So that was really the initial right away. And then obviously just starting to drop some weight.
I think that's some of the things that we're learning still about the GLP-1 hormone, right? And I think it's important to stress here that, like, the presence of GLP-1 isn't what makes you a lean, mean, the skinniest you've ever been, right? It's not a weight loss story, it's an empowerment story, and helping with those connections and helping your body and your brain be, more health conscious and more, willing to listen and stay in tune with itself. But we're also, so that's what happens. It's the smart choices that are what lead to the weight loss and the results there. But we're learning so much more about GLP-1 and its role in organ health, kind of like what you were mentioning was your husband experience. But how there's cardioprotective benefits, neuroprotective benefits. Um, it goes way beyond weight management. And so I think we're still just even scratching the surface of understanding when this hormone is present in your body, when your body is producing it, all of the other things that are happening from a fat and fatty acid, from a body composition standpoint. Those are just as important, and things people should be looking for and wanting for their overall health. So,
Yeah. I think too,
but
to say, like, it's
yeah.
not like you just said, it's not just about the weight loss. And I think I've had people kind of concerned. Well, I know I need to eat. If this is just
Mhm.
going to make me not eat anymore, I don't know that I should be taking it. And what I always
Right.
just tell them is, listen, I still eat. I still have the desire to eat. I just am no longer overeating. My
Yeah.
body is telling me like, okay, hey, you're actually full. I'm not constantly thinking about the next meal or the snack or what else can I have today. And so a lot of that is just gone completely, which is it's huge for having that overall health.
My aha moment was broccoli. Broccoli's never sounded good to me. Sorry, for all you broccoli fans out there, that is just it's something I just didn't crave, and there was a day where it was we were eating with some friends, they had made this broccoli dish, and I'm like, "That actually sounds so good," and I was like, "What?
Am I?
Right here am I who am I? What is this? Like, I want this? This is good for me?" But let's go back to kind of expectation setting because I think there's a lot of there's, this marketplace, especially here in the US, it is so prevalent and you see these dramatic weight loss results kind of all over your social feeds, your commercials on television. But it's important to set the right expectations with what activation is and that this is a natural hormone that your body is producing. So, um, how do you help people under like who maybe have never tried a GLP-1 and maybe just heard on what to expect with our system, especially when they're probably comparing it to those things and those images and those
Mhm.
pictures that they've heard in the media?
Yeah, I think it's important to one set the proper expectations, but education, right? You have to educate and talking about like this is a lifestyle. This isn't a quick fix. This isn't you're going to drop 20 pounds by next week. But if the ultimate goal is weight loss, fat loss, really educating yourself, learning about nutrition, learning how to properly fuel your body, so that you can carry this on into however long that looks like for you. And so I think just one, just saying how it's different, how it's
Mhm.
activating the body. I actually just had a friend, she just ordered today, and she said, well, how is this different from XYZ, fill in the blank? And I just said, you're inserting the GLP-1 at that point where this isn't a GLP-1. This is the right ingredients to get your body working, to get that GLP-1 hormone working properly. Again, not a band-aid, not a quick fix. And that's why, again, we put our names to this. We are comfortable promoting something like this to our market because of the holistic nature of what it's doing inside of the body.
Yeah, and how powerful that hormone is and how much we need it kind of for that overall health. This does not make us we're not a weight if you're listening to this wondering if LifeVantage is a weight loss company, like, we're not. We're the activation company going to help our bodies, empower our bodies to make what they need for health. GLP-1 is one of those things that we can help your bodies do. So if I'm a brand new consultant, Erica, I'm coming and like excited about this. Maybe it's worked for me. Maybe I'm just trying it and liking some of those food noise benefits. How do you help and give them confidence to share this, especially when they're not a nutritionist or, you've got some of that background? How do you help somebody who sees the potential in this, sees potential in the activation story and what we're doing? Um, build that confidence to share this.
Yeah, I think one thing is just, LifeVantage does such a great job of providing resources and providing because we have a lot of things going on. I mean, you're not going to be an expert in all of the product. I'm not. I I'll be honest, just in the beginning, I couldn't even really tell you about oxidative stress. I didn't know about that. That wasn't my forte. Um, but there's resources that you can send to
Mhm.
them or send to your customers, so you don't have to be the expert. But I think just leveraging not only the resources, leveraging other people's stories. You might be on here thinking like, this probably isn't even a product that I might not even take this right now, or
Yeah.
I don't have weight to lose, so that's not going to be a part of my story. Of course, there's so many other benefits, right? But
Mm.
leveraging other stories, leveraging what the company has provided for us. And then just knowing that, know the statistics 82% of adult Americans are currently in a weight loss phase or a weight management phase. So even if it's not necessarily you there's so many people out there that you're going to be able to help just by deciding to make that commitment to go and talk about this, to go and share this with people.
Yeah. No, those are great tips. I always tell people, like, if you're passionate about helping and giving people a solution or an idea that they maybe haven't about before, or an approach they haven't considered, like, that you can do this. This is for you. Like,
For sure.
if you can show people that you care about them as a person and their overall health, um all only good can come from that and from sharing good information. Back to GLP-1, back to the mind body system, and kind of back to the question on expectation. We do have a really, really great recommendations for if you are a brand new consultant. We call it our MB base, right? Something that you can kind of say, hey, when you first start this product, here are some of those things that you need to be doing when you're taking MB, to kind of maximize some of the results you're seeing. So that MB base is just be aware of mind and body. Like, don't look any further than the product names itself, right? It was named that way for a reason. What we're doing is strengthening that connection between your brain, your gut, your mind, your body. So are you aware? Like, are you aware of what's being triggered? Are you aware of when you're hungry, why you eat certain foods, why you crave certain things? And then are you moving? Because that's the other thing, like sitting in an office or sitting working kind of all day. I don't think people realize how sedentary our lifestyles are. So first, just be aware, like ask yourself those mindful questions so you can start noticing when this product starts working in that way, right? It's not a magic pill. It's not something you can just take. You've got to be mentally aware of what's going on. So taking the product, you're going to take 2 core in the morning. Um, before anything else, right? 30 minutes, because that's key, because that's helping those ingredients get to where the L cells are. They need a clear shot, a clear road, no obstruction, right? They need to get to where we need them to be, down in the colon area. MB Enhance comes 30 minutes later with protein to help with some of that satiety and help with the fiber versus protein. We need those resistant fibers to
Mhm.
get down to help populate that gut microbiome where those L cells are. But we really want to make sure we're pairing it with something that helps us feel full, that is going to help our gut and our metabolism reset as well. And then check in with yourself. Like, okay, you know what triggers you. You're taking this product. Are you mentally noticing some of those changes and shifts? Because they will happen. So when you're walking customers through this with their busy lifestyles, do you start at the base? Do you kind of clue them in on this is what kind of success looks like?
Yeah, I love that we have that, and it's simple, right? And so it's not super overcomplicated. If you're brand new to this, especially, and I just threw this whole plan at you, and to do it's a lot. It's a lot to
Mhm.
just jump into, and so taking it one step at a time, one day at a time, start with those basics, and then
Mhm.
build upon them, and that's kind of like life in general, right? When you start to get results, you start to feel better, you start to whatever, you can take on a little bit more. And so maybe then you can add on to that. I think it keeps us in check, right? If we go
Mm.
back to that, like, what am I doing these things? Or what have maybe I missed, or what have I whatever. I love that you said that we don't realize how much we sit.
Yeah.
That was my biggest I was a college athlete, and I'm like, "Well, I'm an athlete, this shouldn't be happening to me," and it was my husband that pointed out at some point in my journey, and he was like, "Cool, you work out every day. Well, how long is your workout?" And I was like, "I don't know, like an hour." And he was like, "And what do you do the rest of the day?" And I was like, "Oh, I sit a lot." And he said,
Yeah.
"What did you do when you were in high school and you didn't have to worry about all this?" I was like, "I was on the go nonstop." And so
Yep.
it's just reminding ourselves and giving ourselves some grace that life has changed and we have to adapt and change with it, but it's not something that we're just gonna snap our fingers and realize how to fix it overnight.
Yeah. I love that. Be graceful with yourself. You didn't get to where you are today overnight.
Yeah.
So that patience and that lifestyle reset. And I think what I love most about this GLP-1 product is it's some of these changes, I'm going to be honest, like I have tried before. I've tried to be more deliberate with my workouts. I've tried to cut sugar and refine like processed foods and things out of my diet. I've tried to drink all the water and stay hydrated. Tried to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Like I love that we have a product now, and when I'm activating GLP-1, I finally feel like I'm able to make some traction because lifestyle is so tricky, and so, it's there. It's a real thing for a lot of us, but it's supporting me finally. It's not just my mental, like, battle with myself, like, "Can I do it? Do I have enough grit? Do I have the willpower? Can I push through?" It's like it's coming alongside of me, helping me make those choices. I don't know if that was kind of your experience as well, but I feel really supported in a healthier lifestyle when I know this hormone is more present in my body.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of fun to watch people as they maybe get started on these products or just share their story more when they have that aha moment when they're like, "Well, that was easier," or "I chose this over that. I would have never done that
Mhm. The
before.
broccoli. Yeah.
Doing this? What is this magic?" And it's really your body's the magic, but like you said, it's being supported with these incredible products.
Yeah. And we do have our MB base, and then we have we call them activation accelerators, right? Because they're things that when you are doing them, it is going to accelerate activation in general, not just weight loss. There's so many ties to some basic things. What are some of your activation accelerators that you use personally and that you've seen others have success with?
Yeah. My go-to right now is the MB. Um, I take the Tri-Synergizer every day.
Mhm.
I just recently added in fat burn, um, because I'm no longer nursing, praise Jesus. And so I was able to start to incorporate that, and then, just again, not just taking it a day at a time, and, I'm trying to get back into consistent CrossFitting, which I haven't done in years. And I'm the athlete, right? So it's like I wanna go gung ho, and then my
Sure.
body's like, "Hold up, you're 40, you have a baby," and so it's just taking it one step at a time, but utilizing all of these things to build upon that base.
Yeah, for sure. My new goal is a pull-up because I have never been able to do that
Yeah,
before.
good goal.
I can do push-ups, I can do but that's when like one day it is gonna happen. It won't be tomorrow. I'm not there yet, but I'm gonna keep showing up for myself and making these better choices
I
because one
love
day
that.
I'm gonna be above that bar. It's gonna happen.
I love that.
Um, Common, like, hurdles 'cause, the MB system has the core product, which is those kinda L cell activators, but it also comes along with a increase in fiber for a lot of people, these resistant fibers specifically that are helping your gut microbiome. Everybody needs fiber to kind of stay regular. It plays such a key to digestion, but adjusting to fiber intake is a real thing too. So, talk to me about some of that. And again, back to kind of that expectation setting. From your perspective, like what are some of those other things that are just good to be aware of so that like you're normal, we're adjusting, we're building up some of these other health benefits that are coming alongside of MB.
Yeah, I think just again, just starting slow, especially when
Yeah,
it comes to the enhanced because of that fiber content. If you're not used to a lot of fiber, and most of us aren't,
aren't.
that
Yeah,
is that's
we
the
think
one.
we are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we think, but I tell people all the time, most adult Americans especially are overfed and undernourished, and they're not getting the right nourishment into their body. And so when you start to do that, your body's kind of like, what are you doing? What's happening? So I like starting with the 2 scoops for at least your first week and working your way up to the 4,
yeah, yep.
which is part of the MD base.
Part of the base. Yep. Everybody ramp up, and it's okay. It's
Now
normal.
I jumped in with 4, but guys, I'm my body's okay with fiber. I knew this about myself. So also knowing, and I would say it's better to be safe than sorry. So why not start with 2? It's not gonna change anything. And then, water. And I know we're all watered to death. We all hear about the importance of water, but are you actually drinking enough
Yeah.
water to help move the things along in your body that the way that they should be?
Yeah. When helping people understand, hunger, and we talked a little bit about this earlier, but hunger and hormone kind of cravings or driven cravings.
Yeah.
Or do you have any tips for clients that may be struggling? Like you mentioned, like, I didn't know what food noise was.
Yep.
Like,
I did.
clients struggling to stay on track, like, "Erica, I'm still hungry," or "I'm still like, and my body's kind of adjusting here." Any pro tips,
Yeah.
um,
That's
for
a tough
someone in that
one because
space?
what I've learned over the years is a couple different things. We can train our bodies. So I was the first person to tell you when intermittent fasting became a thing, when it became popular, I was like, there's no way I could ever do that. I wake
Mm,
up hungry. And if I don't eat, I'm gonna have a headache, I'm gonna be sick. But what I learned is that's just because that's what my body's used to. It wasn't actually
mm,
hunger, it was timing. Um,
mm.
so really knowing your body and starting to get to know your body, it's going to take a little bit of time. But one thing that I learned is true hunger presents itself in the same fashion that thirst does. So when
Mm,
you're really thirsty, it starts to form kind of on the lips, you get dry mouth. Hunger actually presents itself very similarly. And so most of the time we're not actually hungry. There's just
mm.
so many other things going on. A question you can ask yourself is, okay, am I actually hungry? Sometimes we don't know, right? Am I hungry enough that I want to eat broccoli or an
Yep.
apple? You can answer either one. And if the answer is yes, then you might be hungry, right?
Mm.
And so starting with that and maybe even just pushing yourself a little bit more. If you're like, I don't know that I'm hungry or maybe I shouldn't be hungry right now, go do something. Go take your mind off of that. Take a walk. Do something else. Physical is
Move.
great if you
Yeah.
can, yes,
Yeah.
but do something that might take your mind off of that and then come back to it, and if you're still like, "No, I'm really hungry," then eat, right? There's nothing wrong with eating food.
Food is fuel.
Food
Food
is fuel, you have
can be
to
good.
fuel
You
your
need
body,
food. Yeah.
but it's
You
just
need to feel that relationship because especially with as women, I think we've been told state,
yeah.
deprivation and it's more self-will. You've gotta go against food
Yes.
in a lot of cases.
Yes. For sure.
Well, I guess one other question, sorry, before we get to some of the other results, but like nutrition and training, because that's kind of your background. That's how you fell into this. Has any of that changed now knowing because you mentioned I didn't admitting you didn't know a lot about GLP-1 or what it was doing, but now that you do know and you know about a little bit more about gut health and hormone regulation, has anything shifted for you on that nutrition and training side
Yeah.
as part of that knowledge that
Yeah, I think just really, we have always been big proponents of gut health, right? And that's I think a benefit for me personally getting onto the system. I feel like I have some pretty good gut health, but just really looking at the food sources, not
Yeah.
necessarily for us personally, but for our clients, for people that we're working with, for our customers, and just giving options or some ideas of really gut friendly food. Because again, this isn't a starvation. This is about fueling you, but fueling you properly and really nourishing the body with what it needs. So I think just being better educated and being able to then put that out into the world to give that value.
Yeah, I love that. That helps that's probably a big part of your why, right? When you're giving value back, helping people be better, live better.
Yes.
Results wise, what are some of your favorite things you hear when people and we won't limit it to just mind body, but with activation in general? What are some of those things that do bring that like, "Oh, there is value here, there is change here, there's"
It's what keeps me going. It's people's
Yeah.
testimonies. I went to school for helping people. When I was
Mm,
asked what I wanted to do, I didn't know, but I said I wanted to help people. I went to school for counseling. That's what I got my undergrad and my master's degree in, and that's what I'm still doing every day with LifeVantage, which is a beautiful thing. It's just in a different capacity. But hearing people say, and it's always because of you, which is not me, right? It's this
yeah.
incredible company, it's the ingredients, but less just aches and pains. People are hurting and they forget how good they can feel until they start to feel good again. I think that we falter into this norm of, oh, I'm just aging, and this is just what comes along with aging. And society tells us that, if we're being truthful, especially women, as we reach these ages and start to enter into like menopause. I meet women all the time. They're just like, oh, well, that's just part of it. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be. We want
Inevitable.
that to
It
be a
doesn't
part
have
of it.
Yep.
So hearing them say like they really had no idea that they didn't have to suffer through XYZ. But ultimately it's just, getting on the floor with my grandkids and being able to play with them and knowing that this is my new life versus the question that they had prior of fear of, will I even be around for these grandchildren?
Yeah.
Or just that is what keeps it going for me every single day.
The small moments, the day-to-day,
Things we
the
forget about.
improvement.
We all have these big goals, but man, it's the day-to-day things, the little things.
So much life in
Yeah.
that day-to-day. Yeah, I love that. From having the energy, from having the mobility, from having the confidence. That's what I love is and it's the unexpected results of I'm actually sleeping better too. We call them synergies, right? Or when we're talking like heavy science, like there's a lot going on when you start activating one part of your body that it's going to accelerate and improve other areas, not just, what it's kind of targeting, but man, sleep and energy and mood and focus and kind of everything kind of comes into clear picture. So if someone's listening right now, kind of struggling with weight loss though and cravings, not to the point that they're talking about, right? Or those situations where they don't see themselves, as winning or
Mhm.
thriving in life. What is your one tip for something really small that they could change this week to better, support transformation?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, I think, guys, the easiest thing that you can do, because like I said, there's 100. Go Google how to lose weight, and you're gonna read the rest of your life on what people will tell you. But just start to move your body. And
Mhm.
most every single person can do that in some fashion, right?
Yeah,
Even if you're, let's just say, wheelchair bound, can you maybe move an arm or move a leg, or can you do something? Um, I think people think that they have to go from zero to, you know, doing a pull up or lifting all this heavy weight. And ultimately, just lowering your body weight as low as you would need to sit on a toilet, or
yeah.
lifting something up off of the floor, right? Lifestyle things that you have to do every single day. It doesn't need to be monumental, but just go for a walk. Just do something today that you didn't do yesterday, and then build upon that every single day.
Yeah, small changes done consistently over time. You'll get there. Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much, Erica. This has been amazing. Thank you so much for being the person that you are, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge, your passion for activation and what we're doing here at LifeVantage, both for health and wealth, right? For people all over the world. So if you've heard something today that inspired you, like please reach out to the person that shared this podcast with you. We have an amazing community. We call ourselves Activation Nation because we believe that activation is helping in so many areas of overall wellness. And just excited to have more people know about this path to health, and know about activating that financial side with a LifeVantage business. So, Erica, thank you for having us, for representing Activation Nation so well. And we will see you guys on our next episode. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Activation Nation podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for future episodes and updates, and share with a friend or prospect that you think could benefit from today's conversation. Check the episode description for any links or disclaimers, and we'll see you next week for another episode. And now, the legal stuff. The sales earnings disclosed are potential gross earnings and do not account for expenses incurred in building a business. The average 12-month earnings of a typical U.S. consultant who earned in 2024 are $683. LifeVantage does not guarantee any income or rank success. A consultant's earnings will depend on individual diligence, work effort, and market conditions. Visit the LifeVantage Income Disclosure Statement for more information. The statements made have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary. Results may vary. Typical weight loss using this product in a 12-week weight management program is 1 to 2 pounds per week. This product should be used in conjunction with a healthy diet and regular exercise. Consult with a healthcare provider before starting any weight loss program.